How are you? I hope you're having a good day. I am here to paint live with you, hopefully today. Um, every day during this month, I'm coming on YouTube live. And anyone who wants to put this on in the background and paint with me, that would be phenomenal. And if you want to get on the email list for reminders of when I'm going to go live, you can email me at the email address in the description. Also, if you don't catch this live but you want to watch it later, feel free to put that on later while you paint, and you can follow along with the project I'm doing, or you can just work on whatever you want to work on, whatever you feel inspired to do, or that project that's been sitting there that you want to finish. And I can tell you we're on day 8 today, and it's been such a great accountability for me to paint every day, having this live video challenge. I can have a goal, to get in the studio every day and work a little bit, but when it comes down to it, there's a lot of days where I just feel like I'm too busy or I'm too lazy and I just don't make it happen. So this has been a great accountability for me, and I'm hoping that it will be for some of you as well who are looking for that extra challenge. Before we get to painting today, which we are going to make something new, we've been doing Dutch pours and that's been so fun. They're my favorite kind of acrylic pour to look at. But to be honest, my favorite kind to do is probably the flip cup pour. So that one's just so relaxing. It's so surprising. So we're going to do a flip cup pour today and switch it up. But I'm going to show you here what we did last time. We did this little colorful wave, which is drying. And then the day before, we had done this blue oceany wave. I'm curious which one you like better. I know which one I like better, and maybe it's a little hard to see in this underneath this canvas here, but comment down in the comments if you like left, the colorful one, or right, the blue one, which one you like better. Today, we're going to do a flip cup pour, and actually I didn't go to Hobby Lobby last night like I thought I was going to be prepared, Well, I'm not prepared. So, but I have stuff to paint on. And so we're going to use some of that. Today, I'm going to use this tray, which was a mess up from a long time ago. I just haven't poured over it yet. So we're going to do a flip cup pour over a tray today, which are my favorite. I love doing the wood trays with the flip cup pours over them. So we're going to do that, and we're going to use a metallic palette to do something totally different. So we did a lot of blues these last few days. And before that, we did a lot of pinks and purples, which I love. I love it all. But today we're just going to veer off and do something different. We've got gold. It's like a metallic black, straight black, copper. Yeah, it's going to be cool. But before we start, I just have to show you this because it's too beautiful not to show. And I'm so, so happy with it. This is the latest ocean board that I did. The lacing was just spectacular. It's so wave-like. It's so oceanesque. I love it so much. And the coasters in the wine caddy here are stunning. Oh, the colors, it just is my favorite. So I'm really excited with that. I've got a little bit of sanding to do on it. But I am going to have this done soon. And I'm going to do a few of these to have ready for a festival, a local festival that I'm going to be at next month. I am tempted to keep this one for myself because it's one of my favorite ocean ones I've done, but I think I will take it to the festival. And let's clear that to the side so we can get our space ready to pour. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm really thankful for anyone who's joining me today. All right, I'm gonna bring you down. I cleaned off our space from the last week. It was getting plumb full of paint. So since this has already been painted on, I'm not gonna do anything to the surface. Set that to the side here. Mix up our paints. And since we're doing a flip cup pour, I'm gonna use my standard flip cup pour recipe, which seems to work like magic, and I will show it to you. It's very simple. So I shook this up, but I really hate when there's clumps in the Floetrol. It's so distasteful to me. So I like to strain it through before I use it and make sure there's not any, at least big clumps that are going to get in there. So this recipe for the flip cup pour that I do on these trays is simply paint, Floetrol, and water. And I just do 1 part of paint to 1 part of Floetrol. I don't measure, just it's approximate. Then I add water to get it to the right consistency. The consistency for flip cup pours is a little bit thicker than Dutch pours, is what works better for me. The Dutch pours, you need it thinner for the blow dryer to really move it. But with the flip cup pours, if it's a little thicker, it tends to hold designs better for me. I don't know if you found the same, if you've experimented with both. And I can't tell you if the flip cup pour works as well with just paint and water, because I have always done it with Floetrol. So I'm guessing it would, but I haven't tried it. Let me know if you've tried it. Just gonna go ahead and strain a bunch of this. That way, if we do more flip cup pours, we'll have a lot ready. So I'm really happy to be here today. It's nice to be painting a little bit earlier in the day. I know it seems to get harder, at least for me, as the night goes on. Even though any time is better than nothing. But it's nice to be able to do it earlier. I do have my little ones watching a show right now upstairs, so they might have to go if they need me for something. All right, and then I'm just gonna rinse this out really well quick. Over here, I love having the sink handy. Wash out brushes and whatever. Okay, now we have a huge jug of our pouring medium to last us for a while. And then, so just using paint with that and distilled water, and I'll show you the different paint colors we're using today. I've got black. This is ivory black, just a really, really dark. And then pearlized carbon black, which has a little blue and a little metallic in it. This is the Hobby Lobby brand of paint, Master's Touch. Tends to work fine for the flip cut pours. You can see the difference. This is really pretty. I don't know how if it's gonna show through or whatnot, but I thought this would be our one non-metallic to kind of contrast the metallic with. Then we're gonna use gold, of course. Could do silver, but I like gold better. Let me know if you like silver or gold better in the comments. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of different colors of gold, ranging from, of course, pink, like rose gold, to like a green, kind of green gold, which I do not. I do not like that one. I'm not going to do rose gold in this. It's just going to be more, I feel like a little more maybe masculine, less pretty. But later on, we'll do a more pretty metallic-y one with rose gold and maybe white. Okay, this is coming to the end. This paint they call brown red, which is such a boring name, and basically it's copper, which is a much prettier name. But we're going to do less of that, because I don't really want the copper to take over, but be more of an accent. If you're watching right now, let me know if you're excited, and let me know if you're painting along or if you're just watching. Just gonna put stuff away kind of as we go, so I don't have a huge thing when we're done. Clean as you go is what I try to do when I cook. Otherwise, it's just a huge mess. So it's cooking for 8 people. Yeah, every meal, lots of dishes. Okay, so I'm just eyeballing about as much Floetrol as paint. It doesn't really matter if you get more or less. What matters more is the consistency which you achieve with the water. But this is a nice way to make your paint go further. We're going to treat ourselves to some fresh new popsicle sticks and mix this stuff up. Start with the most boring. Oh, I did find that mixing the Floetrol and paint first is much better than the water. This just goes together smoothly, and then add the water a little bit at a time rather than just dumping in a whole bunch, and it really separates the paint. It's kind of hard to bring it back together. A random note about mixing: when doing resin, you spend several minutes before your project mixing, and then you only have about 45 minutes working time. Troy stresses me out a little bit, like the time with resin, but somebody told me there's a resin mixer out there where it can just automatically mix your resin. I'm really curious about that. If you've tried that, let me know. I'm suspicious that it would cause a lot of bubbles, or it wouldn't, when I stir resin, I really scrape the sides and the bottom so it's all mixed. And I wonder what the resin mixer, how it works. I haven't looked it up. So I'm just going to give a little shout out to Debbie and Laura. There's been a few of you that have been consistently watching and leaving me some feedback and stuff. Definitely you too. So I really appreciate that. And then, yeah, I hope these videos will serve as an inspiration, even if people watch them later after the fact. And it's been really good for me just to get in the practice of being consistent, doing a little bit every day. You know, as a perfectionist, it can be easy to just throw it all out the window if you can't do it all and you can't do it perfectly. And that's just a really unhealthy way of surviving. So I think what I've learned is, you know, if anything's worth doing, it's worth doing badly. And if anything's worth doing, you can piece it into little bits and, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. Some is better than none. All right, these are mixed with the flow tool. Now we're just adding water. Start with a little bit. Again, this is going to be thicker than our Dutch pour paints. Still going to be fluid, but a little bit thicker. So it'll hold together its design and not all mush together. It comes out of the cup. So if you've ever felt it's like there's not enough time in the day to paint, to do creative stuff, or you're always trying to fit it in the cracks, but you just feel like you can't ever get anywhere. I read something that was really helpful for me. I recently listened to the audiobook. It was called, I can't remember what it was called. It was something about make money with what you know or something. It was kind of centered around how to set up an online course. And the author was Graham Cochran, I think. And he addressed this kind of at the end of the book, different objections. And the one I resonated with was, you're trying to do this stuff, but you feel like there's just not enough hours in the day. And you keep like plugging away little by little, but your efforts aren't really doing much. And what he responded to those people, me, was kind of eye-opening to me. It was a little bit of a, I was definitely guilty of what he said, but I didn't realize it. What he said was, you are probably procrastinating. As hard as it is to hear that, it's not so much about like never having time as it is about you're putting it off. And that may not be true for everybody, but when I looked at my situation honestly, it was like, you know, I can make that excuse like, oh, I never have time. But the thing is, we can waste time doing things that don't really get us to our goal. Or we can like very effectively use maybe the small amount of time we have to get us closer to our goal each day. And he said the reason people like me are procrastinating is usually out of some kind of fear, like fear that it won't be perfect, like fear I can't do it yet because it's not going to be perfect. I can't go forward until I figure this or that out. And I definitely feel like that has been true with me. Like that's been a stumbling block to moving forward in my artistic goals. It's like, oh, I can't do that now because, you know, there's so many hurdles to overcome before that, like so many steps, so many things to learn or so many things to figure out. And it's kind of a fear of, yeah, failure maybe, or imperfection. Like, don't want anyone to see it before it's perfect. And his advice to people like me, and if you're like that, I hope this encourages you a little bit. His advice was just, what was it? I wrote this down. Yeah, you're probably procrastinating. The reason: fear, insecurity, perfectionism. So that's a typical artist thing. Yeah. So his advice was get it good enough and move on. So a lot of times we spend way too much time, trying to hammer out this little unimportant detail that we just need to get over so we can keep moving toward our goals. So that really helped me. I don't know if it'll help anyone out there, but it was like, just get it good enough and move on. Okay, I'm accidentally adding a little too much water. I'm not really, I don't work well while I'm talking. So I might add a bit more paint into these, thicken them back up a little. Silly me. We'll just have a lot of paint to use. Well, I don't know. I might use most of this on the tray. We'll see. People always ask, like, how do you know how much paint to put on these trays? Because you can't tilt them off. And for me, it's just been trial and error. I have used the resin circle calculator, which is on artresin.com. It's really great. You can just type in your diameter of your round surface. You can do it for squares too, but they have a round one, circular one. Type in your diameter and it tells you exactly how many ounces you need of resin to cover that. So you can use that for paint as well. And I've used that, and I also just use I use like experimentation in the beginning. Like first I didn't have enough in my cup, and then I had to add more, and then I had too much and it cracked, and then I just kind of figured out the sweet spot as far as like how much in the cup. All right, I got the gold too thin, so I'm adding back a little bit more. Did I get this copper too thin? That's pretty thick. That'd be fine. And I did the metallic black too thin as well. Where did that go? I just love the way this one looks. But I have yet to really see it come through in a painting, probably because we've used so many other colors on top of it. But I kind of hope we see it in this one. We've got a more minimal color palette here. Just gold, copper, this metallic black, and the straight black. A little unsure about these two together because black and dark blue, it's like wearing navy and black. This isn't supposed to be blue, but it definitely looks blue to me. I hope it's going to turn out. But hey, if it doesn't, like this, you just pour over it, right? By the way, I don't care about this tray because it's not a good tray. Anyway, I got some trays from Amazon and they were all crap. So I don't recommend wood trays from Amazon, at least the ones I've ordered. Like bang for your buck, you don't get a good tray. But I usually find good trays at like department stores or home stores, like Home Goods. As far as bang for your buck, I used to get them from Target, but they don't carry the one I used anymore. So but in case you're wondering, I usually pay about $25 to $35 for a wood tray. And I would like to find a local wood craftsman, like to source my trays and boards. I've got a few business cards, but I haven't really looked into it yet. last one we're mixing up. I think the other colors are ready. So we're just thickening this gold a little bit. It's harder to put the paint back in here. It's like taking me a while to get the clumps out. Better to just do less water than to have to add back in paint. Live and learn. Something about acrylic pouring, and probably almost anything, but especially acrylic pouring. I've noticed that experience is probably the best teacher. You can't, yeah, there's no teacher like experience. You can watch all the YouTube videos, you can take classes and stuff, but there's nothing like just doing the pours yourself, doing them over and over, tweaking things until you find what works for what you're trying to achieve. And you're not going to figure it out by thinking about your paintings. I don't know about you guys, but I spend way too much time thinking about the art I'm going to make. There's so much of it in my head. I wish I could, if it was all out of me, it would just fill up the whole world. I have so many inspirations all the time. Can anyone relate? It's frustrating to have inspirations and like not be able to carry them out. But I guess that is the human limitation. We can't do everything that we want. In this life, at least. I think we have heaven to hope for. Okay, this is kind of thin. Should I thicken it some more, do you think? Should I be done? I better thicken it a little bit more. Just, it's pretty thin. We don't want to lose all our gold. I like the wide popsicle sticks for mixing. They just mix faster than the little ones. There's more surface area. So if you're excited about our color palette, give this a thumbs up because we're just about to pour these into the cup. And I love flip cup pours. I just love the surprise of seeing what it does. Once in a while it disappoints me, but usually it's pretty cool. I'm just using some little yogurt cups to mix. I don't usually do gold, black and stuff, metallics, unless it's like metallic turquoise or metallic blues, purples. But I did do a tray that was all metallics, but it was more white palette. So it was like pearls and silvers and champagnes and rose golds. And I'm going to link that in the description. So if you, after we do this tray, if you want to go and watch that one with a lighter colored palette, that one turned out really pretty. I think it's called Champagne Shimmer. So you can click that in the description if you want to watch that one. That one will be a lot faster than this one because that's an edited video. All right, just double checking consistencies here. This is pretty thick, this black. I want them to match, at least be close. Would you put another show on for them? Would you mind putting another episode? I hear them running around. Maybe shut off the oven too. Thanks. I'm so thankful that my husband is supportive of my artwork, especially when I spend more on materials than I actually make with art. He's just, yeah, just so supportive. He's the best. Yay, we're ready for the fun part. Time to pour it in a cup. If you are still with me so far, thank you. That's so awesome. I'm glad you guys are here. Yeah, let's do this. So I've got this, what is it, 9 ounce or so? And we're gonna do it about 3/4 full. Should be, I think should be about the size we need for this. This looks like a 14 or 15 inch tray. And I'm doing it in layers, just kind of chunky layers. Just pour it down the side of the cup gently so they don't like splash and mix too much. I don't want to mix them like too much in the cup. That black is a little thicker than the rest. Let's see what that does. Curious. What will red and blue? Ooh. Oh no. I just poured a huge bunch of copper down the tray. A little sloppy. It's all right. Can wipe that off. Let's keep some rubbing alcohol handy. Quick cleanup works great. But I forgot though, putting this rubbing alcohol on these trays is not good because like these cheap trays are just glued together at the seams, and sometimes the alcohol can kind of loosen the glue, you know. It makes things, yeah, it like dissipates glue. So I've used one on a tray. I've used alcohol to clean a tray before and the tray actually cracked. So watch out for that. I don't care if this one cracks because I just don't really care about this tray. It's not a great quality. It's fine, but it will work for our pour. There. Okay, we're getting close. Here we go. Keep adding some more black. Speed this up. Just pour in a bunch at a time. We're getting low on the metallic black. I always like to keep a little in the cup because sometimes I tweak the design after it's laid out and I might need to add a little pink here or there. All right, so I'm gonna save what's left of the copper and the black and finish off with this gold. Do a little swirly swirl. All right, we've got a little bit left in each cup if we need to add or tweak the design later. And I love seeing the cup and the paint inside it. It's so pretty. Thanks, Claire. And this is maybe a little bit silly and sentimental, but Sometimes I keep the cups if they're really pretty, like after pouring. I don't know why. It's just hard to throw them away because they're so pretty. Not sure what I'm keeping them for. Is this enough paint? We shall see. All right, here's the fun part, guys. Are you ready for it? We're going to put the tray over the cup. You know how this goes. Flip it over. And just hold our breath for a minute. And then we're going to lift up the cup, see what happens. I think one of the fun things about acrylic pouring is that anyone can do it, you know? I've done a couple kids' birthday parties where everyone got to do a pour, and it's just so fun for all ages. Okay, are you ready? One, I'm so nervous. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Ah, so pretty. I torch it before it spreads out too much, because I like to make those cells and then the cells spread out really pretty. Oh, I love it, guys. It's beautiful. The paint's flowing well. What's coming out is the copper, the metallic black, which definitely looks blue, and these really beautiful stripes of gold. We've got a little bit of the black in there. It's not overwhelming, I'm glad. Oh, this is so pretty. Right now I'm just letting the last bits of the paint kind of come out of the cup. That way we get all of it. Just let this organically spread a bit. Kind of let it relax. This is really neat over here. These cells are so pretty. This is interesting, black and red. What do you guys think? If you like the way it's going, give a thumbs up. And let's tilt this and see what is going to happen. Is the fun part. So the area I like best is where I kind of like to tilt it first, because then I might keep that and spread it out a little bit. We've kind of got this even pattern going on, so I think I'm just going to go forward with it first. It's flowing really easily. I think we got the right amount of paint. And my last painting, like the mess up that we're painting over, looks like it went up maybe 1/4 of an inch. We're going to try to cover that. But not go over, because I don't like when it goes up too high on the edge of the tray. So I like to go to an edge and then kind of come back to the center. Wow, look at that spreading out over here. Pretty neat. So we'll just go back the other way. Might go this way next. Go this way. Wow, this is gorgeous. I don't know, I'm seeing wild animals in here, like cheetahs and leopards. Giraffes. So fun. Such a surprise. So you have more control when you do it on a canvas because you can pour stuff off. You can't do that on the tray. So what you've got here is what you've got. But I love them on trays because it's so fun to have a functional piece of art. Not everyone has a wall that they want to hang a painting on, but trays are very easy to display or bring out to serve food on or set on the coffee table for decor or move around different parts of the house or give as gifts. I just find that they tend to sell a lot better than canvases do for me. And people can use it. Wow, we've got the gold and sort of this is like turning purple almost with the copper and the blue. I don't want to lose that black and gold. I'm hoping it'll kind of come out if I tilt it back. This is just about the right amount of paint for this canvas. So that was about 3/4 of this 9-ounce cup. But again, that resin circular calculator is really helpful. If you want to know exactly how many ounces you need to cover. Of course, the more paint you have, the easier it is to spread. A thinner amount will spread slower. Ooh, it's very interesting what's going on. All these little cells are now huge. When these dry, I like to do gold leaf designs and resin on top of them. I've got a whole playlist of trays if you want to see more of these trays, like in time-lapse kind of speed. I have all different color schemes. I think if you go on my channel and just search trays, like on the playlists, you can see all those. Probably my most favorite one is this purple one, and then the oceany blues. One that's really popular is the wedding monogrammed tray. So in the middle, I did the initials of the couple and their last name initial with some fun like glitter and crushed glass around it. It's one of the most popular ones. This is a very different color scheme for me. And it's fun. I like it. If you guys like it, hit the thumbs up. If you don't. If you want to see more of these trays, let me know in the comments and I can do some more this month. I'm going to take you in for a close-up, but first I see some little things I need to get out of the paint before I forget about them. It's like a little chunk of paint or something. An intruder. I need a tweezers to grab this one. So to see everything, you just kind of have to look at it sideways, like with the light shining on it. And then you can see all the little hairs or the bumps or the bubbles in there. This is so fun. I don't think I'm going to add anything to it or change anything. I'm happy with it. And I'll probably just wreck it if I do that. So I'm going to bring you in for a close-up. Thank you for those who are still watching and sticking around. Wow, look at that. So fun. See some of these areas closer. It's very, yeah, it's very different. I like it. It's kind of wild looking. And I suppose when all this stuff is dry, I'll have to show you outside so you can see it better in the natural light. All right. I think that's all we're going to do to this one. I'll just cover it so it can dry. I'll probably move it and then cover it so it can dry without getting any dust in there. And it has these holes in the side so that'll let enough air in to help it to dry. Yeah, cool. I hope you guys had fun today. If you made a painting or painted along with me, email me, email address in the description, and show me what you made. I'd love to see it. I'll be on live again tomorrow painting. Every day this month, I'll be doing a live painting session, and we're doing something a little different every time. And today we only took 50 minutes, so that's pretty good. 50 minutes and you have a painting made. Of course, we're going to finish this with resin and all that, so it's not like done to sell, but yeah, it's got the paint, it's got the design laid down, so I like it. All right, thanks so much for being with me. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see